Hi, I'm John McGuire, founder and director of the Kinesiology Institute. Thank you for tuning into this video. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell to be notified when we post new content. And go to kinesiologyinstitute.com to learn more about applied kinesiology. As we always like to do, let's check the anterior deltoid here. Ready and hold as I push. And meet my pressure. Okay, it's switched on. Now I'll take the green dot, put it on the muscle and hold again. And it switches off. So I know I'm getting an accurate information from the indicator muscle. Let's now look at something. Well, first, always like to check to see if you're hydrated. So let's have you tug on your hair so you're stretching the skin. And as I push, it's fine. Okay. Now we can also check for switching. I'm going to show you a shortcut for switching to see if someone has it. We do one hand and then the other and then the other again. Okay, so if someone has switching, one of those will go off. So in this case, no switching is showing. So anything you've got stress on, like when you're thinking about your life right now, and what would that be?
Well, I think in general right now there's a lot of stress in the world. First, because of the pandemic and the restrictions on freedom. Yeah. So freedom is a really high value for me. Mm-hmm. And so I feel constricted that way. And I also, with the holidays and everything coming in, that's another stressor. And the elections, and we don't know the outcome of that and the things that is going on with all that. Yes.
Okay. So I want you to think about all that. And now, while you think about it, count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
5.
Now, it's giving us an indicator muscle going weak, which means the bilateral alarm points are what's under stress. And this is the technique from Dr. Diamond, John Diamond, and it's in your books around page 28, 27, right in there, in the manual. So what I'm going to do is, as you count, I'm going to start touching, or actually don't count. I'm going to touch because the counting showed we need to touch these alarm points. Let's see in the context of that stress. That was lung, that's liver, gallbladder, spleen. Now spleen goes off. So when I'm touching spleen and it goes weak, it's indicating that there's an emotion of anxiety in the future that's like in place now, and the emotion we want to install is faith in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So on your charts, on your page 28, you'll see right here, no, that's actually 29. So on page 29, you'll see affirmations for spleen. Now we'll see which one goes strong while I hold the alarm point, or we can also look and see which one of these that you find might fit for your state right now. So actually you can, I'm going to hold and see that that goes weak. So now say one of the affirmations and I'll test.
I'm secure.
Add strong. Next one.
My future is secure.
Okay, that wasn't strong.
God is my guide.
Now, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means we're wanting the one that tests the best, strong, okay? And it could be a combination of these. So the next one?
I have faith and confidence in my future.
Okay, that's another good one.
I am materially secure.
Okay, so the first and the third are actually fourth. So I am secure and I have faith and confidence in my future. So those tested strong. Do those feel like good ones for you? That's like, yeah, you want to be secure and have faith and confidence in your future? Great. So that's what we're going to tap now. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to tap, temporal tapping, which is the thumb on the ring finger, and these two fingers are tapping right over the ear on the temporal sphenoidal line. So you're going to say, when I think about, in the stressor, it could be the situation in the world or whatever you want to use as your reference to it. I am secure and I have faith and confidence in my future. Okay?
When I think about the elections, and when I think about the pandemic.
How about just for a global combination of it all? When I think about everything going on with that kind of, because it's you're feeling what you're relating to it in your brain. So just a short way of saying it would be, when I think about, you know,
all the events going on,
I am secure.
And I feel.
And I have faith and confidence in my future.
And I have confidence and
faith in my future.
In my future.
Okay.
When I think about everything that's going on right now, I feel secure and I have faith and confidence in my future.
Great. And really feel that. Now, as you do this, I'm going to have you also let your eyes follow my, so we go through and scan it through your brain. So
when I think about everything that's going on right now, I feel
I am secure
and I have confidence and faith in my future.
Good. And feel that as you tap it in again.
When I think about everything going on right now, I am secure and I have faith and confidence in my future.
Great. And again, with the eyes closed. And you can tap a little lower, closer to the ears is fine too.
When I think about everything going on right now, I am secure and I have faith and confidence in my future.
Very good. So feel that with congruence.
So when I think about everything that's going on right now, I am secure. And I have faith and confidence in my future. When I think about everything going on right now, I'm secure. And I have faith and confidence in my future.
Okay, now just sit with that for a moment. Yeah, you can even put the fingers together. I like to just meditate on that feeling. I'm thinking of my future. Feel that, and I have faith and confidence in my future, and I'm feeling secure. And just feel those emotions. Feel them flooding through your being. Okay, so let's test again. And we'll see if another one comes up or if that's complete. So I want you to think about the events going on and then count. So out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, that's strong. Now think of the events going on and hum. Okay, so there's another layer. So let's see what emotion comes up and what alarm points. So let's start with, I'll go for governing, that's central, okay, sex, heart. So heart is going weak. So as soon as you find one, you can stop there. So heart is related to anger, and the positive emotion is love. So when you think about the events going on, has anger come up for you at all?
Yes, in fact, I just feel like there's a lot of we don't know what the truth is, so I feel angry because I feel like we're being deceived. Like I feel like, you know, my intelligence is being offended.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of anger in there. It's like, what's going on?
Got it. Now we're going to look at the affirmations for heart on page 28 for you that are looking in your manuals. So I have forgiveness in my heart for myself and what's going on in the world would be 1. So I'm going to touch here and it's weak. So now say that top affirmation and see if it corrects it.
I have forgiveness in my heart for myself and for the current events of the world.
Okay, let's try the next one.
I am free to express love and acceptance to others.
Ooh, it likes that one. Okay, and the next one?
I am merciful and understanding.
Okay, so that middle one. So that's what we're going to tap in now, the same manner. I am free, when I think about the events going on in the world, I am free to express love and acceptance to others. Okay, now the tapping again is right over the ear where the temporal bone meets the sphenoid bone in the skull. And it's theorized that tapping there basically programs it into our deep subconscious. rather than just saying an affirmation out loud. It really intensifies it and programs it in. So again, we're going to have you tap there, and as you tap, you'll say, when I think about the events going on, and then the affirmation, which is
I am free to
express love and acceptance to others.
I am free to express love and acceptance to others. When I think about the events going on in the world right now, I am free to express love and acceptance to others.
And feel that love and acceptance as you tap.
When I think about the events going on in the world right now, I am free to express love and acceptance to others. When I think about the current events going on right now in the world, I am free to express acceptance and love to others.
Great. Now eyes closed.
When I think about the current events happening in the world right now, I am free to express love and acceptance to others. When I think about the current events going on right now, I feel free to express love and acceptance to others.
Good. One more time.
When I think about the current events going on in the world right now, I am free to express love and acceptance to others.
Good. Now, feel that, and bring the fingertips together and feel that love and acceptance in your being. Just feeling love and compassion in your heart, even with all the stuff going on in the world. You know, like when you're starting to get angry at somebody, you come from love, you come from acceptance and understanding, and just feeling that spread through your being. Okay? Great. So let's see again. I'm going to muscle test when you're ready. So think about everything going on in the world and hum. That's now strong. Okay, and think about again everything going on in the world and count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, now that's strong. So let me ask you, compared to when we started and you thought about everything going on in the world, and now, is there a shift in how you feel about it?
Yes, definitely. Like right now, I feel, you know, that energy is flowing better, and you know, it just kind of moved something, right? You just kind of, there's like more energy, and it's a positive energy, right? It feels like love. It feels like acceptance.
So you can feel that in your body.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know often when I do a correction, it's like, oh, there's a shift.
Yeah.
You know, it's like something's different.
I noticed maybe like on a second and third affirmation, first one doesn't feel like you're feeling, doesn't feel real.
You mean when you're tapping?
But then like maybe the second, the third time, then towards the end you really already feel the difference just in my tone of voice and everything.
Yeah,
you can tell.
I could tell that too. It's like I'm feeling the love and acceptance and the
except from instead of just feel like you're reading it, right? From script.
And that's what I say. I want to emphasize that when you're doing this, you really want to be congruent and like conviction. You know, that I really am, you know, being in a state of love and acceptance and affirming that I am, you know, in action, that I can, you know, live in this state with whatever's going on. So I've had times like, and we can check other things going on in your life, where someone would have like a lot of anger. In fact, this is the biggest one for me. I had so much anger towards this guy who ripped me off of $1,800 that I couldn't sleep at night. I wanted to destroy him. I had these thoughts of doing a heinous crime that would probably get me executed for it. I mean, I just wanted to literally kill the guy. And it was just running my life. I was so angry. See, he violated one of my rules, which you don't intentionally and deliberately harm other people in some way, like stealing from them, you know? And so, and lying. So those are rules I have. You don't steal or lie, but he still stole and lied to me. So then I started doing this technique. And by the way, it sometimes takes more than one round. So in other words, in fact, let's ask your body, it would be good for you to reinforce these affirmations. Okay. oh, okay, it looks like you're good on him right now. But sometimes it'll be yes, and then I'll have to do it for a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. So in his case, I would repeat it before I would go to sleep, after I'd wake up in the morning, and it took a few days. Mm-hmm. But from being that it was running my life to where it was like, doesn't bother me now.
Right.
And I also made a communication. I called the guy, and I told him, I didn't appreciate that he lied to me and he, didn't give me his money back. But then what I did, which was bizarre, I even said this, is I say, and I wish you well. His name was Alan. Alan, and I wish you well in life. Wow. So because when you hold resentment towards other people, you take that energy on, and as you know, it's poison in your body. And that's often what I've seen. People with cancer, I've known 2 people very closely who had a lot of resentment and then developed cancer, and both died. Wow. So it's literally poison. So I had to let go of that resentment towards him because it was poisoning me. Mm-hmm. Didn't bother him at all that I was holding on to that. So I just had to let it go. And that's a really big lesson in life, because when we hold on to resentment, boom, it can really wreak havoc. Not only in your health, physically and emotionally, but also your results in life. Rather than you can now be free from this cloud that was hanging over to you to get an action in your career and your life. Do you understand that?
Yes, and I think that sometimes people want to try and hang on to the resentment because they feel like if I let go of the resentment, I might not get the lesson or something, or be violated again. But you can distinguish those 2 things and just say, okay, I get it. This person's not necessarily the action that they did is. I don't want to be associated with this person or whatever. Yeah. Wish them well, but you don't need to carry on that emotion to learn the lesson, right?
Right.
So let go of that, but still keep the learnings, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can take a learning without having to hold the resentment to get the learning. In fact, it's easier to get the learning. Wow, I really got, when I'm entering an agreement, because this was, it was actually a landlord of mine, and what he did was he had a security deposit and an extra month rent of rent, and then I gave him plenty of notice, and he didn't give me my security deposit back, even though I got everything, I should have gotten it back and all that. So I learned, okay, well, don't rent from people I can't trust. So I've never had that happen again. So I guess I got the lesson. And yet the thing to be aware of is that, again, when you hold on to a resentment, it allows you to feel right, like I'm right and he's wrong. And we have this consciousness about we got to be righteous and defeat the enemy. And, it's like not really important to hold on to being right. In fact, there's a saying, would you rather be right or would you rather get results? So a lot of times it's like, I'm going to let go of my righteousness and just allow myself to see what is the outcome I want to have. Which for me, it was, well, I want to make my $1,800 back in some way. Now, the good thing is a little bit further in the story, is because I didn't like this guy and wanted to not be renting from him, I ended up buying a house, and it propelled me to buy it faster than I would have well, let me look around and spend a few months or something. So I bought a house. The house went up $410,000 in, I think, 5 years. And so I realized, and then I met a neighbor who later had bought a house in my neighborhood that was the same floor plan as mine, and she says, oh God, I wish we would have bought your house when we had the chance, because she was looking at it and I bought it first. I said, yeah, well, you got the same house. Yeah, but the prices had gone up like $20,000 in just a few months. And so I said, wow, well, maybe that $1,800 that I lost from him, I was rewarded by, basically $20,000 more in my actions. So it's good to let it go. Whenever you're holding on to some resentment or some anger, it's good to let it go and say, what's the result I want to have in my life? I want to live in peace and prosperity, and I'm going to let that chapter go and move on. Because so many people I find, including myself, have held on to things way too long and carried that burden forward. So the key is let it go, take the lesson, as you mentioned, and then move on.
And sometimes it's not easy in the beginning, like you said, to immediately let go. But one affirmation that is a bridge in between is like, I'm willing to perhaps be free to express love and acceptance. I'm willing at first, because you may not feel that it's truthful right there and then if it's something really stressful.
Good point. Right? Sometimes you need some time to be with the emotion before you can let it go. You know, like in terms of grief. My good friend Sheldon Deal's wife of 42 years died like, a couple months ago? And I was with her like 10 days before she died, and she had a sudden heart attack, and nobody had any clue. She was like totally healthy, vegetarian, would exercise every day, wasn't stressed about anything, and boom. So I told Sheldon, I said, whatever you can feel, you can heal. So actually allow yourself to have a few minutes every day, because he says, well, I'm still crying. I said, that's good, because you can heal it by feeling it. And just allow yourself to relax into the tears, rather than, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this. Say, I'm just going to have a good cry and let myself be depressed and grieve, not depressed, but grieve for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long. And then I said, the other thing, when I was going through my darkest hour of grieving in my life, every now and then I would watch a funny movie or go to a comedy club or do something that would get me to laugh. Because you don't want to be stuck in the crying and crying and crying, but it's important to do in the beginning. Or in terms of anger. There were times where I would be really angry at someone and I needed to get that out. Not just, oh, I'm angry, but I'm just going to tap it away with an affirmation. So there's times, especially when an emotion first comes up and you're reacting to it, if you can, don't yell at the person, but go somewhere where you're away from everybody, like in your car, roll the windows up, nobody's around, and yell at the top of your lungs. I had one client where we got a box for her because she had so much anger bottled up that she lived in an apartment in Venice, and probably near Wade. And so she put her mouth right in this box and then had pillows in the box, big box, and she would scream every morning for about 3 or 4 minutes. And she says, God, I feel so much better. So just realize that there are times where you need to emote and express. Remember, whatever you can feel, you can heal. So that's, a part of the equation. Now, what I do is often ask when I'm doing a balance, the affirmation technique would be good. And then if that's not right, well, maybe it's the video technique or the magnet technique or one of the other myriads of techniques that we have. So the body wants to be fixed in a certain sequence. And again, sometimes it's like I need to make the sound of the emotion. And then we go to the 5 elements and find out what sound is the equivalent of that. So in the case of anger, it's liver. Where the person needs to shout. In terms of lung and large intestine, the metal element, that's where the person needs to cry. And there's charts for you that have the folio. There's the emotions on each element and meridian that you can then see what's the sound and the emotion that expressing that will actually help clear it.
Right. I've been to a seminar in which we would write certain things that we weren't happy with, put it on a pillow, we got a baseball bat, and we go, they made us do this for 10 minutes, first 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 20 minutes.
Cool.
And then by the time, and they're really, get into it, right? And by the time you're done, it's it's gone. The energy is gone because you're really releasing it, right? So some people need to be physical. Some people need to be crying. Some people, I think the main thing that I learned from all that is just what you said. If you feel it, you can heal it.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere else, if you can name it, you can tame it.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Good one, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, right? So I didn't take time to feel the feelings that were uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of suppressing and pushing them away.
Yeah.
And then they become like constricting everything in your life. It become blockages, right?
Absolutely.
So my life really improved once I learned this very lesson.
Fantastic. I did a therapy similar in the 1970s, before I even knew about kinesiology, which was called racket thwapping, where my therapist would give me a racket, and I would just get all this anger out, particularly towards my father. I had all this bottled up anger towards my father, who I also wanted to kill, literally. And it was so helpful. It was a system called radix. Originally, I think the guy was out of Ojai here in California, but I was back in Akron. And it was really helpful just to emote and get it out and get it out and get it out. So part of the, what we're talking about here is remembering whatever you can feel, you can heal. And relax into the emotion and the sound and let yourself emote in an appropriate way, in an appropriate place. Like when I was in the saddest time of my life, I had to let people know, just let me cry and let me be. Because we think, oh, it's going to be okay. No, you can feel better, no. And sometimes with a client, that can be the case too. I tell them, just relax into the tears. And just breathe deeply and go into the state that Eckhart Tolle calls pure awareness. And just notice from your meditative awareness, there's the emotion, there's the tears. Just like you're out watching a storm on the ocean and you're seeing the crashing waves and the rain and the wind, and you're just back in your meditative state watching it all, but letting it all play out. Wow. And after the storm, there's always a stillness and a calm that comes. So another key factor there.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Good. So any other either things going on, like in your career, you're making some transitions there that you want to clear some stress on, and we can see what comes up for it?
Sure, we could. Yeah, look at, doing my own business and not relying on a job for income. I feel like I'm being pushed into that direction, and that's really what I asked for. And then here we are. So yeah, I want to really be able to embody those qualities that it's hyper focus and motivation, and just feel the energy to just really keep pushing forward.
Okay, with that goal of embodying that, let's have you hold your arm up, and let's see if it's switching off. Okay, so I'll put it in my circuit for you. So now I'm going to ask techniques that would be helpful. Okay, so what I've got now is I'm in circuit, so your arm is weak. So I'm going to say something from the left column on the checklist. Oh, it's saying yes. Okay, so emotional stress release, quick fix, cause of emotional upset, 6 human needs, HeartMath. Ooh, HeartMath, video technique. Yeah, so HeartMath goes strong. Now, the HeartMath technique is where you're focusing on love and compassion in your heart. And they talk about that creating a coherence. It's the most important factor in healing anything, but also gives you coherence to step into your career in action from a state of love and compassion and gratitude. So what I'm going to have you do is first think of something or someone that really brings you gratitude. Okay, just thinking it. Do you have one in mind? Okay, so let's see if that particularly tests strong. Real strong. Okay, so let's have you think of that in your heart, feeling the gratitude. Yeah, you can do this with eyes closed is good. And I want you to feel that gratitude deep in your heart and give it a color. What color would gratitude have? Blue? Okay, great. So I want you to see blue, beautiful blue light pouring from your heart in this feeling of gratitude and going down into your toes and filling up your feet. Just feel that cascade of gratitude filling up now your ankles into your calves. Feeling it going into your knees and thighs. Feeling that beautiful blue light coming from your heart, that gratitude, feeling of deep gratitude going through your hips and your whole pelvic region up into your lower abdomen. Feeling that gratitude now filling up the entire abdomen and lower back, moving up into your rib cage. Beautiful blue light coming from your heart, filling up your entire chest and your whole lower body with gratitude, just emanating, going into your shoulders and down your arms now. The heart radiating gratitude and this beautiful blue light all the way down into your hands and fingertips. And now that beautiful blue light's going up into your neck, into your face and head, surrounding your whole brain and head, and your whole body now, vibrating in a state of gratitude.
Wow.
Good. Now feel that whole gratitude expanding from your body and being around, surrounding your whole auric field. Deep gratitude emanating from your heart, expanding into your whole environment, your whole world. Sharing that with others. Coming from that state of gratitude, now see yourself in your career, taking action out of gratitude and love and compassion. Seeing yourself moving forward in that state, accomplishing phenomenal things, feeling really good about yourself, really good about all the things that are manifesting from this state of gratitude. Breathe in slowly and deeply, just knowing that that is so. And then when you're ready, let's have you open your eyes. And first, how do you feel compared to what you felt before when you think about your career going on, coming forward?
I feel lifted.
Mm-hmm.
I feel overflowing, right? My cup is super full, overflowing with gratitude, and just a knowing, right? It's a knowing that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Right. So
fantastic. Well, let's muscle test and see where you're at with the energy. So thinking about
hot.
You feel hot, huh? A lot of energy's released too.
Oh my God.
Okay, so think about your upcoming, how you're going with your career, moving into that, and hold as I push again. Great. Now let's ask if we have anything that would relate to a home program on this, okay, that would be needed. So home program doing this technique would be helpful. Yes, doing it once a day, more than once a day. So once a day for more than 1 week, for 1 week. Okay, so when would be a good time of day to do this technique again? And by the way, if you haven't seen it or found it, it's on the Psychological Kinesiology website. I can't remember the class. It's probably the one with HeartMath. Yeah, go to the HeartMath class.
It's like 3 or something. It's in the beginning.
It's probably the first half. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's the affirmation, or the whole thing I just did with you. There's a audio that you can download, and then you can put it in your iTunes or whatever on your phone and listen to it. So that's gratitude visualization. So if you want to use that. So what time would be good for you to do that? Like
usually in the morning. I think it's the first thing in the morning. Kind of sets the day in motion.
Okay, great.
And before bed too, sometimes, like if you can't do in the morning. Right?
Oh yeah.
Because then while you're sleeping, I feel that carries through. You wake up in that state, right?
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great time. Both first thing in the morning sets the tone for the day. Right before sleep, it puts you in a really good sleep state, as well as integrates it in deeper into your brain. So both are great. Cool.
So HeartMath technique, there's another way that we hold here, right? There's like another format, perhaps.
You mean in terms of HeartMath?
Yeah, no?
Well,
Or
you
is this
can.
a different one that we hold and then we think of, send gratitude, and we think of something that is bothering you, give it a color and switch it around.
Okay, that's
right?
another form of the HeartMath technique for pain.
Oh, for pain.
So
Could
do you
be
have,
emotional pain or any kind of pain?
well, we use it for physical pain,
Might
but
work.
you could, you could do that with an emotion too, like a situation. So in that form of the HeartMath technique, do you have a pain in your body at all right now?
I'm probably stiff because I had surgery and then I don't have full range of motion, so and I can't exercise, so I'm pretty sure that there are places and things that are tight and stuck.
Okay, well, I'll give you the example of this. So it's a technique actually that's used in NLP where we're not really having to touch the frontal eminences, but that's something you can always do with any pain. Like if you have pain in your body, you can touch the frontal eminences, breathe slowly and deeply, and that'll often reduce the pain. Since you mentioned touching a point, that's where you would touch the forehead. However, in this technique, you're first giving that pain or stiffness in your body, you're giving it a shape and a color. So right now, what would you say that is? Like if you zero in on it and gave it a shape and a color, what would it be?
It's like a brown stick.
Okay, a brown stick. Okay. Now, and just so we see on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the stiffest it could be and 1 being like totally relaxed, what number would you give it now before we move into the technique?
Like a 7.
Okay. Now, look at that again, and what would be a more pleasant color? If you were to shift the color, what's a pleasant color?
I think blue.
Yeah, you mentioned blue for the gratitude. Okay. So now what would be a more pleasant shape than a stick?
Yeah.
Like a pillow or a cotton ball or something.
Yeah,
something soft.
Something soft. A shape, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Could be a feather. Just give me examples.
Yeah, maybe a circle.
Okay, perfect. So see that now, going back with your eyes closed, visualize that just in terms of being now a blue circle. Maybe like a
blue bubble.
Blue bubble, perfect. So now, instead of that brown stick, see in your body where that is, and see it as a blue bubble. And see if it shifts the intensity from a 7 to any lower. Is it shifting it any right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what number would you give it before we go to the next phase?
A 6.
Okay. Now what we're going to do is you're going to see it in your heart becoming a blue bubble. And see that blue bubble filling up your heart, filling it with gratitude, and from your heart now, feel the blue bubble just bubbling up and shifting over to where the stiffness is, and from your heart now, see if that shifts it to another feeling, another color. And, and another sense, so now
it just expands and envelops like more of like the whole, like a bigger area from my heart, and just expansion.
Great. Now that level of stiffness that originally was a 7 and a 6 without the heart technique, what number would you give it now?
Maybe like a 4.
A 4. Great. Okay, so that's the technique you were asking about. So you can do that for yourself as well as with clients when you want to shift, and it's a technique. You can say, well, HeartMath, if someone comes in with pain and it says to do the HeartMath technique is best, you could use that form of the HeartMath technique. Okay. So you can also, I do this with people if they have an area where they're feeling pain and tension, just without doing even the technique of the colors shifting and the shape. is I'll just say, okay, feel that gratitude and love in your heart like you did, the blue, and send it to that pain area or that challenged area of your body. Or if someone has, say, something they're healing from, see that go to the area you're healing and fill that area up with that color and that feeling of gratitude. So that's another way you can use the HeartMath technique for a specific body area. So there's a lot of value there.
Amazing.
And like everything we teach you, there's some people that only do HeartMath. And it's so powerful. If that's all you did, you would really help people.
Right.
In fact, they did research from Boulder Creek, California, near Santa Cruz. This Institute of HeartMath, comprised basically of medical doctors and PhD researchers, have found that this is the most important element of healing any disease, is using this, because it alters your whole consciousness. It alters your immune system, your healing powers. So anyone that is healing from anything, again, download the digital audio from the class and have them listening to that. And that is so powerful for them healing from anything. So it's a great technique.